All right, so you signed up for ClickUp, now what? So in these video series, I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up your ClickUp, some of the best practices, and some of the really cool features that they have in ClickUp. It has a lot of information in ClickUp, which is great, which means it does a lot. It's probably going to be able to do everything you need it to do, but it's about finding your way through it as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create just a simple space with a simple list and some simple tasks. Nothing crazy, but something to just get you started. Then from there, in my next videos, we'll start to build off of different skills so you can go ahead and create it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create and show you guys what the hierarchy of ClickUp looks like. So at the top of the hierarchy, there's a thing called spaces. You're seeing the spaces: altitude operations, internal, that's one space. Virtual assistant clients, that's another space. Executive team only, that's a third space, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to show you guys what to do is to create the new space. It's really, really simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit new space. Now it's asking me to name this space. So I'm going to just label this client projects. So I want to keep track of all my clients and all the projects that I have for that client. So I'm going to hit next. I can choose a cool color here. I can choose whatever I want here. I have some clients that like to use logos, but you can go ahead and upload whatever you want there. Now it's asking, do you want everybody in the workspace to have access, or do you want to make it private? I'm gonna make it private so it doesn't show up on everybody's dashboard and kind of cause confusion. So I'm gonna make it private. I can also add people. So if I didn't want it necessarily to be for the whole team, but I did want some people to have access to it, I could pick. So I could pick anybody on here. Go ahead and click next. Now it's saying, do you want to look at any of these template statuses? I'm not going to look at the template statuses. I'm going to just go straight into custom. Then I'm going to hit next. And now it's asking, what ClickUps do I want turned on? We'll get into ClickUps in another section. Just go ahead and whatever it has selected here, keep it. It's not going to mess anything up. And just hit next. Same thing here. We'll go over what the views look like in a separate video. So for now, just click next. Now it's going to go over everything. You have your space name. You have your avatar that we picked with the color. You have who you're sharing it with, your task statuses, your ClickUps, and your default settings. So we're going to go ahead and create the space. The spaces you can see got created right here, client projects. Anytime you create a brand new space, it's automatically going to come in with a list created. List isn't going to have anything on it. It's going to be blank. It's just creating that original list for you. So if you click into the list, so you can click into the space, which is going to let you see everything. If there was 5 lists under here, all of that would roll up to the space. So if I clicked on the space, I would see everything on here. Now there's only one list, and so that list is right here. I'm going to go ahead and create another list just to show you guys. So you have your project, and now you can create lists under there. If you have the need to use a folder, so for example, if I want each of my clients to have their own list, but I really want it in a folder, I can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click create a folder. And I'm going to create the folder as test client. I'm going to go ahead and just leave everything right there, and I'm going to hit create folder. So when I created a folder, it automatically created a list as well. Now, if I click on my everything, you'll see both lists. And that's this one and this one. So it's really a roll-up of everything in that space. So now that I have a list, I have a folder, and I have, let's call this client number 1. Number 1. Now, let's say I have several projects for this client, right? Let's say I'm doing an operations audit, and I'm also doing some team building activities for them on 11/1. So what we can do here is we can really start getting into customizing this like crazy, but we're going to kind of just stick with the basics. So if I'm doing an operations audit, there's several tasks I know that need to happen with this. I know I need to schedule 2 2-hour workshops. I know I need to create an audit document. I know I need to present the audit document. So there's more that goes into this process, but we're gonna make it pretty simple. I'm gonna go ahead and close that, just not get confusing. Now I'm gonna create another subtask. So for team building, let's say I have to create the agenda. I need to determine activities and create survey for participants. All right, so now in client number 1, I know I have 2 projects going for them. 1, I know I have an operations audit, and 2, I know I have a team building event with them on 11/1. So as I go in here, I can see all of the subtasks that need to happen to get that one project complete. So I have an operations audit. I have 3 things I need to complete. Also with team building, I have these 3 things I need to complete. So that's one way to do it. So the hierarchy goes again, you have your space, that's your overarching space. Then I can have a folder, and then I can have lists underneath that folder. Then if you want to create a task and you want it to actually show up on your task list, there's 2 things it absolutely needs to have. The more information you can put into the task, the better, especially as we're saving things as templates, which we'll go over in another video. The more information you put in there, the easier it's gonna be as you pass off some of this work. So let's start with the 2 things that a task needs to have. A task needs to have an assignee. Now, because I made this a private board and I'm a private space and I'm the only one that has access to it, I'm the only one showing up on this list. Now, if I gave the whole team access, it would have everybody listed here and I would be able to click on somebody. Not only does it need an assignee, it also needs a due date. So I'll go ahead and put the due date there. Then all of these subtasks also need due dates. So if I know my overarching operations audit is due by Friday, then I probably should start getting some of this stuff done today, right? So I'm gonna say Thursday, and then I'm gonna say maybe I'm presenting it on Friday. So now I know that my operations audit is due on Friday. Now I can see all the steps that have to happen, and I can see that it's due for Friday. We'll go and do a lot of other things that you guys can customize in this, but really we just wanted to show you guys how that works. So again, you have your space, you can have a folder, you can have lists within that folder, you can have one-off lists like this. And the way that you create all of that stuff is you just click this plus, and it'll say, do you want to create a list, a document, a form, whiteboard? And again, we'll go through all of this stuff. And then you can start putting tasks in. This operations audit and this team building audit are what we call tasks. Everything underneath these, schedule 2 2-hour workshops, create an audit document, present the audit document, those are all subtasks to that task. Again, if this is confusing, no worries, we'll have more information. And if you have any comments or anything, leave them in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to either create another video that can help you and the rest of the community, but also we'll definitely get your question answered. Thanks.